Hey guys, we're going to start in just a few minutes, but I wanted to get this online started now. If there's anybody online, please say hi. Or don't say hi, that's okay. Hello everybody, welcome back. It has been a long 16 months. And it is so good to see your smiling faces. I'll assume they're smiling. And hello to everybody online as well. Looks like we have 7 people and someone's saying hello, and hello to you. I can't see that far away. So it's been 16 months, and that's a long time. And what I wanted to do first is something that I don't normally do, but maybe I should, because they are at the root of this practice of loving kindness, and that is the precepts. And in the Buddhist precepts, traditionally, one of the things to do to become a Buddhist is to take the precepts, the 5 precepts of non-harming. And so this is be kind of a call and response, and so we're going to go ahead and take the precepts. Now, one of the precepts is, the last one is to refrain from intoxicants. You don't have to take a precept that you don't have to take. And that's the wonderful thing about this practice, and no one's going to think less of you. All right, so if there's a precept you don't want to take, that's perfectly fine. Okay, so don't worry about it. It's just that, first time in 16 months, and I've been thinking about this. I mean, these precepts of non-harming are at the core of loving kindness practice, right? Think good thoughts, speak good words, do good deeds. That's essentially what the precepts are, right? Let's join our palms together at our hearts, please. And just repeat after me. I undertake the training precept to refrain from killing living beings. I undertake the training precept to refrain from taking what is not mine. I undertake the training precept to refrain from sexual misconduct. I undertake the training precept to refrain from incorrect speech. I undertake the training precept to refrain from intoxicants or anything that leads to heedlessness. I take these precepts not only for my benefit, but for the benefit of all beings. May I be diligent in upholding these precepts to the best of my ability in each moment today. And that's a big part of loving kindness practice. And it's something that we do every day, normally. When we meditate, we kind of open with that. At least that's how I do it. It's just easier to do it that way. But you can do it at any time that you want to. So, let me ask a question. Who is first time in person to a loving kindness class? Nice. Well, welcome. And other people, maybe you've come before. I forgot what everybody looks like, except for Eric. I know Eric. I remember Eric. So, this word that we're talking about when we talk about loving kindness is metta, M-E-T-T-A. And this is a wonderful and a very rich word because it comes from the Pali language, which is a language that we think the historical Buddha probably spoke, if not something really close to it. It's a dialect of Sanskrit. When a word gets, is so old and it gets translated, 2,500 years later into English, it could really mean a lot of things. It could mean loving kindness, which is a word unconditional friendliness, and goodwill. So depending on who you're doing this practice for, those different types of definitions can be really come in handy. Like if you're doing this for the enemy, loving kindness doesn't really come tripping off the tongue. And so, but you could have goodwill for somebody and not like them. Right? But more than that, it's also wishing for ourselves and for others to do the things that cause happiness. And the things that cause happiness, we just did. We just took the precepts. Those are things that cause happiness. Our positive thoughts, words, and deeds. It's really, really simple, and so many people love to complicate the heck out of it. If you follow or are in any other kind of spiritual communities, I'm trying to say something nice because I just took a precept to be skillful with my words. And sometimes the meaning seems to have been lost in other words like vibration and abundance and things like that. But what we're trying to get you to do is to do the things that cause happiness because they cause happiness. And this is the wonderful thing about this practice. You can try these things and you can test it out for yourself. So try these things. Do they work? Yes or no? You don't need me to tell you that. You can do it on your own. And give it time, of course. But the other reason why I love Buddhism so much is, we tell you what the practices are, but we also tell you, like, why you do it. Why do you do it? Why do we do this? Well, for two very good reasons. Number one, it gives us a very basic understanding of karma. Just the basics, which is all we really need right now, which is our positive thoughts, words, and actions lead to positive mind states. Do they lead to positive mind states? Yes or no? They do. But you test it out for yourself, right? And the other thing they do is they give you an idea of what we call right understanding. And right understanding is the first of the Eightfold Path. The Eightfold Path being the path that leads to enlightenment, that leads to nirvana, that leads to freedom of the mind, that leads to the ultimate happiness. And these positive thoughts, words, and actions help us to understand what causes happiness. And it helps us to keep on doing what we're doing when we see that it works. We kind of prove to ourselves, oh, this is better than to curse out somebody or to flip somebody off. So that's why we do it, and I like that about Buddhism. You tell them, well, here's the practice and here's why it works, but go test this out yourself. Here's why you want to do it. Not because we're trying to control you or anything like that. We don't control anybody in this practice. We are not into proselytizing. My niece, who's in, I just adore her. Her name is Alex too, and she lives in Alabama. She lives in a suburb of Montgomery called Prattville, and her husband and her came to visit a couple months ago in April, and we were all vaccinated at the time, and so she came. And she came to see me, and she came to see my other sister who lives up in Los Angeles. And when they came down here, we had a wonderful time and everything like that. And she's surprisingly open to new things. And we had a wonderful time. And later on, just a couple weeks after they left, she says to me, there's this friend who's a Buddhist at my job, and I want to ask them about Buddhism, and what's the best way to do that? And I thought, that's a really nice question. She's asking me, the best way to approach it. And I thought, oh, that's really nice. And what I told her was that, Buddhists don't proselytize. We're not trying to convert you to anything. Right? And, like everybody here, you may be Buddhist, you may be not. I'm not trying to convert you to anything, and nobody here will ever try to convert you to anything. Not me, not Jeff, not Travis, not anybody. And I said, well, just ask them. We don't proselytize. And that's what she was worried about. She was worried that if she asked him if he would try to make her, come to Buddhism or convert her to Buddhism. I said, no, we don't do that. And she felt really, really good, and so she felt really free just to ask him about that. And it worked out really well. He just answered her questions. So that's another thing that I really like about it a lot. Okay. So we're going to do our meditation on loving kindness. I'm going to guide it. And but before we do that, does anybody have any questions whatsoever that I can answer before the meditation begins? No, which is usually the case. Okay. So after we have the meditation, we're going to have like a question and answer ceremony, or maybe there's something I want to talk about. I'm just really happy to see you guys. I really am. It's been really wonderful. And yeah, let's go do this. Everyone get into your meditation position. Let's begin. So just allow your eyes to close, making sure you have that position that's nice and comfortable for you, nice and sustainable, so that you're not likely to move around too much. And when we sit like a Buddha. And you can even imagine yourselves as a Buddha sitting underneath your own tree of enlightenment. Whatever kind of tree that is fine. Ready for the task at hand, which is the day's abiding. So first, if we can just get connected to the breath, let's just take a deep breath all the way in and all the way out. Not forcing it, letting the breath be quite easy and quite natural at first. Paying attention to the breath and focusing the breath at the base of the nostrils, just feeling the air go in and out. And just seeing where the energy of the breath goes. If you need to direct it to a particular part of the body that might have a little tension, that's fine. And just gently follow the breath in and out, getting connected to the breath, which is a wonderful prerequisite to starting our loving kindness practice. So for the next few moments, just rest as gently as you can in the sensations of the breath. So to begin our practice of loving kindness, we'll start with our benefactor. And a benefactor is anyone in our past who has shown us great love and great kindness. Someone it's really easy to have these feelings for. You just think of this person and you smile and your heart gets warmer and bigger just thinking about all of the ways that they have been there for you. The only thing we're going to do is just radiate loving kindness to them. However you understand that word radiate. I like to picture a beam of loving kindness going from my heart to theirs. I'm kind of picturing them in my mind's eye while I do it. I imagine them smiling and I'm smiling. Why wouldn't I smile? They've meant so much to me. It could be anybody, a relative, mother, father, friend, anyone. It shouldn't struggle finding a benefactor. You can have more than one benefactor. Your benefactor could have already been deceased. They could be not living. That's okay. So just for the next few moments, just radiate loving kindness to your benefactor or benefactors. Now shifting our focus just a little from doing this for our benefactor to now imagining our benefactor doing this practice of loving kindness for us. And it could be the same one, it could be a different benefactor. And so there's just really the roles are reversed. And your only job when you imagine your benefactor doing this practice for you, maybe shooting their beam of loving kindness from their heart to yours, is just to receive. It's just to acknowledge and receive all of their loving kindness into your own heart. And if you sense any tension in your heart, any area of tightness or discomfort, that's okay. Can you perhaps just breathe into that a little bit to give it some space, to give that discomfort just a little room to kind of do its thing, maybe loosen and soften just a little. If you want, you can even put your hand over your heart while you're imagining your benefactor doing this practice for you. Feeling your heart get bigger and warmer just by letting all of it in. So we'll do this for the next few moments. Now, probably the most important part of this practice is to do this practice of loving kindness for ourselves. So just at first call to mind your own wish to be happy, your own wish to be free from danger, healthy and free from illness, at peace and ease in this world. And realize it's the same wish that everyone has for themselves. So we're all in the same boat. We all just want to be happy. So what's wrong with wishing ourselves happiness? We've wished it for others, and now we can wish it for ourselves. And we can either radiate loving kindness to ourselves, however you think that would work. You can repeat phrases of loving kindness, like, may I be happy, may I be safe from inner and outer danger, may I be well in body, in mind, may I be at peace and live at ease in this world. So just repeat one or more of them to yourself, or any phrase of loving kindness that has a loving and kind intention behind it. Smile. You don't have to take this part so seriously. So we'll do this for the next few moments. now finally we can explore the limitless quality of the heart by doing this practice for all beings in all directions. Whatever living beings there may be, upwards to the skies and downwards to the depths, outwards and unbounded, may all beings be at ease. And we'll finish with this recollection. open your eyes when you're ready. And just take the next 2 minutes out in silence as you stretch your arms and you stretch your legs. Just keeping that mindfulness of loving kindness about you. And then we will begin. That was so nice to meditate with other people. I spent the last 16 months just by myself or, on a Zoom call or YouTube, which is fine, which is great. Hello, people, again. Jean said hi. Hi, Jean. And then I don't know who LSE is. Oh, is that Elsie? I don't know. But hello. They were saying hi. But, with other physical bodies in the room with me, that felt really, really, really good. And, yeah. It's awesome. Hopefully you felt it too. So, I'm always interested to know, especially now, what your experience of meditation was. Whether you had any questions on the instructions, or you want to share what your experience of meditation was, if there's something that was easy or difficult or enjoyable or not. All of these things I'm always very interested in. So, yeah, I'll just leave it up to you for questions or comments. Yes, we'll go you and then we'll go you.
Okay. My experience.
Yeah.
I feel it's very easy to because the part where we're thinking about other people and radiating love to other people, I feel like that aspect is really easy. And the part where we're trying to receive love, that part's really difficult for me.
Receive love from when you did it for yourself, or when the benefactor was doing it for you.
In general.
Okay.
And that probably goes hand in hand with me struggling to truly know my self-worth. And I feel like for the rest of our lives, we're going to be really critical of ourselves. But I just hope that one day I'll truly feel the love that people give me. And how does that happen? Doesn't get easier.
Yeah. And so, I think one way to look at it is it's hard to see ourselves from in ourselves. It's hard to see ourselves how other people see us. Because we have some idea we really have no idea. It's a fact and we know that there are people who love us, whether it's your parents or siblings, whether it's, friends who love you, romantic partners. So we know this is true, and I hopefully that you know this is true, that somebody loves me. And they love me for probably a really good reason. And so instead of thinking about what my self-worth is, because we're all thinking that to some degree, it's an epidemic of trauma in this culture. It's so hard. I'm Gen X, and I'm early Gen X, and my generation is basically a generation of nothing but trauma. Where we had to fend for ourselves and feed ourselves and cook for ourselves and do everything for ourselves. And, we're taught to push our feelings down and not talk about our feelings and all these different types of things. So me going to therapy was really a new experience, and it was very, very foreign sounding until I actually did it. It was wonderful. But so largely in our culture, that's kind of how we feel about ourselves. It's this either somebody doing this practice for us or us doing this practice for ourselves. So hard. Because we can't feel it. There's this armor around our heart that, and whether it's issues with self-worth or trauma or something else, it's feel like you're running into a brick wall sometimes. And so that's why I like to think about somebody loves me, somebody cares for me, somebody did this for me, this wonderful thing for me, right? They must have had a reason. I must be worthy of this. And if you're doing phrases, affirmations, does anybody do affirmations? Affirmations? Or certainly you know what affirmations are, right? And the phrases we use are kind of like affirmations. May I be happy, may I be safe, and all these different types of things. But for some people, affirmations are still, they seem a little hollow because they can't quite believe it. So there's also something that might be helpful. It's called an affirmation. Has anybody heard of an affirmation? What if I was happy? What if I was at peace? What if? So it's not this, outright, yes, I'm happy, or I'm going to be happy, or may I be happy. What if I was, it's more gentle than that. What if I was happy? What if I was safe? What if I was at peace? What if I was healthy? So this is a very gentler approach. And it's something I heard a while back, I think from a therapist, and I thought, wow, that was really, really good. I wish I made that up. I didn't make that up. So there's different tools that we have that can help us with that. Because you are certainly not the only one with this issue. I'm with this issue. And I've been dealing with that for a long time, where now it's so much easier. I can say, in my own meditation, may I be happy, and I eventually will believe it. Oh, I am. Yeah, I can be happy. I deserve happiness just like anybody else. So this is, a couple of ways to look at it. What was your name?
Kate.
Kate. Hi, Kate.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you.
Welcome. Yes, sir.
First of all, I want to say that this phrase, which I heard here, was you're perfect as you are, and you can use a little work, which has helped me a lot with self-acceptance.
Yeah.
But my actual comment was going to be that I hadn't been building for a long time, haven't meditated the entire time,
Right.
but I've tapped into remembering how I felt the next day, and that's wonderful. But going through the precepts,
Uh-huh.
it erased some anxiety that I was having right before we did that. And it wasn't related to any of those 5 areas. My anxiety wasn't related to those areas, but it just evaporated after we did that, and it didn't set the intention. So I just want to say I appreciate you having that tonight.
Wonderful. And, it's one of those things where, Travis, does Jeff do something like that at the beginning of his class? Or do you do that? Somebody does that.
Jeff takes refuge.
Jeff takes refuge, okay. And so I was thinking about that, because even though, yes, this is a loving kindness class, but everything we do in Buddhism is a loving kindness practice. Taking refuge is a loving kindness practice. Taking the precepts is a loving kindness practice. Everything to do to free ourselves from suffering is a loving kindness practice. And so I was thinking about that a couple of days ago because I was so excited that I would come here and see actual faces and get to talk to people one-on-one and answer questions like this. And I was thinking about that. I said, Alex, why haven't you, the precepts are a loving kindness practice. Why don't you start with that? And so I said to myself, yes, I think I'm going to do that. Because I talk to myself constantly. So I thought that was a good idea. So thank you very much. And that first statement was, and I forget who said that, I think it was Ajahn Chah or something like that. You're perfect just the way you are, and you could use a little improvement. And so, kind of what we mean by that is we have this seed of perfection in us. This seed just needs to be watered with the right kind of growth formula. And it needs to, grow out of the mud and the muck, which is why the lotus is such a wonderful symbol of Buddhism, because the lotus grows and breaks through the mud and then travels up the water to eventually break the water and, flower. Thank you. So we all have this seed of enlightenment, this seed of perfection in us. And that's why we are all perfect just the way we are. And we have a lot of mud that we need to deal with. And that's okay, because everybody has it. And we're all in the same boat together. And we all have the same, it's the first noble truth, the noble truth of suffering. Suffering exists and we all have to deal with it. And that's what we're trying to free ourselves from with our practice, and our practice of loving kindness for this class. So absolutely, I like that phrase too. It's very useful. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Thank you so much for the practice and for, I feel like you're really holding that space of warmth and loving kindness up there. So it's really a good example. And for me, this is really helpful because I've been focusing lately on opening my heart. Because, COVID kind of feel like people are a little more closed because of like the fear of death. So lately I've been consciously trying to open my heart, and so it's good to focus on there with the meditation. And I think it takes a lot of courage too to have an open heart in the culture, and I think it's necessary courage, like important courage. And for me lately, the affirmation or the like affirmation, reminding myself like, what if I truly do have Buddha nature and I truly do have this basic goodness and it's who I am, then there's really nothing to fear when I meet people. There's nothing to fear but fear itself. So I'm so grateful that that's such a, fundamental part of this practice is this trust in our basic goodness. And then when we trust in our basic goodness, then it allows other people to meet us and in that basic goodness. And all it takes kind of is one person sometimes just to let down their guard, and then the other person does, and then connection.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. Thank you so much. What was your name?
Rachel.
Rachel. So what I think your name? Dave. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
I took a whole different approach in this practice. I didn't choose someone who I had easy faith in their love for me and my love for I know my love for them, but I don't want people to think their love for me. And someone who promises that they do love me, but they're actually such something different lately. This practice helps me trust that. But I'm wondering, is there a danger there? Is that a danger of illusion?
So can you help me a little bit? So this person, you said kind of would normally be easy to choose, but it hasn't been recently?
Yes. So this is a partner who recently we had to split due to her mental health issues. And so she promises that it's not to do with me. But it's hard for me to accept that. And so I'm trying to
Yeah. So that's a great question. And one of the things I didn't say, and I don't normally say, but technically, what we like to our guidance is that when you're doing loving kindness for a benefactor or imagining a benefactor doing this practice for you, it's not normally a romantic partner. And it's not normally a romantic partner because there can be a lot of conflicting issues that come up because there's normally some sort of attachment there. So, maybe you could do that. They could be your benefactor when you're doing it for them, but when someone's doing it for you, it could be a different benefactor because it's just supposed to be easy. This person is supposed to be easy, so maybe it's easy for you to give to her, but for the reverse, maybe choose somebody else, so you don't have those conflicting thoughts. So without her, would you be able to choose somebody?
Oh, certainly, it's just I'm trying to.
Right, yeah, because it's a difficult time, and there's always attachment involved in romantic relationships, which is another reason we try to stay away from it. But yeah, so hopefully that would work for you. Awesome. Yes.
Again, I have two questions. One of them, so actually, I'm taking this okay, how do I say this? I'm actually in a book club on this book called Loving Kindness by the psychologist Kristen Neff, and they use a lot of what you just used in your meditation practice in that book. Because I've done this meditation before, but there's also a part where you send loving kindness to someone who you find difficult.
The enemy.
Yes, I was wondering, was your choice, to not include that? Is because you want it to be,
It is my conscious choice not to include that.
That's okay. I was just wondering that.
Because, and I say this a lot, I'm going to say it again, if we did nothing but loving kindness for ourselves for 7 years, that would be a good thing. That would not be the bad kind of selfish, it would be very loving to ourselves. And so I don't do loving kindness for a neutral person or the enemy. Plus, for the enemy, even though I tell people don't choose your mortal enemy, they do it anyway. And so there's a lot of these feelings coming back at them that are really, really difficult, and will kind of make this practice really difficult.
Okay.
So I don't even go there.
Okay.
It's Screw it.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
My own, this is just my own food, you literally don't need it. You can do it if you want to, absolutely.
Uh-huh.
But if all of us we didn't do anything but loving kindness for ourselves for a while,
Yes.
and maybe for all beings, then I think we're good.
Okay, and then my second question was, I think I've heard of this meditation called the Tonglen.
Tonglen? Mm-hmm.
Is that a form of loving kindness? Is it like the one where you like breathe in all the suffering, you breathe out like all your love?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You breathe in the suffering, you breathe out.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a Tibetan meditation.
Okay. Would this be called the Tonglen? Like, what's the difference?
No, this is not. This is loving. It's a different form of it.
Okay.
Or Tonglen's a different form of loving kindness.
Okay. Thanks.
Awesome, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming. It was wonderful to have you here. Oh my God, I can't tell you how good this feels. All right. Let's join our palms together on our hearts, please. May the benefits of this meditation, this discussion be received by all beings. May all beings be free from suffering. May all beings be at peace. May all beings be joyful and at ease. May all beings be happy. May all beings be loved and seen for the beautiful, radiant, perfect beings that you are, that we are. Thank you for coming. Thank you, everybody. It was wonderful to have you here, and I hope to see you again soon.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye, everybody online. Hi, who wants to say hi? Thank you and good night. Oh, Linda and Brian. Hi, Linda and Brian.
Thank you, Alex.
Oh, you're so welcome. Hi.
Hi. Thank you.
You're
And just at the very end, what you said about the enemy, because I have to imagine you've done it before. Because I had that in my head. I was actually explaining it to my girlfriend, and it was a part of, we do our benefactor, someone we love, a neutral person, and the enemy. But what you said about why you can exclude it, spot on for me, because I remember doing it in here and choosing somebody who was exceptionally difficult and really, I wouldn't say mortal enemy, but as close as I get to having.
Right, yeah.
And you're absolutely right. All of those, it's so terribly difficult just to stay focused. I'm okay with, sending positive vibes and stuff, but it's in that moment, you start to feel the emotions and the hurt or whatever, so absolutely spot on. And even though I didn't ask it, you answered a question I had as far as, am I missing something? I thought we were supposed to do one for the enemy or whatnot. So.
Yeah, I do purposely just like, nope, not doing that. And, because we need to be in a better fundamental or foundational position of loving kindness for ourselves, right? Before we even tackle all that other stuff. So once we get there, then we'll do it.
Then we can throw it in.
Yeah, there's no hurry. That's what I like about
And
this.
what did you say? Sorry, at the very beginning, it was think good thoughts.